So there's some interesting news. Number one, fund manager was saying that just looking at of course, the massive fundamentals of physical purchases of silver, as well as technical analysis, which again, sometimes when I look at the charts, technical, schmechnical, the price moves where the club wants it to move. But he feels like silver should only be going up from here, whether they fight it tooth and nail to keep it down or not. But for now, this video, central bank gold purchases increased in 2014, says World Gold Council, as Sweden now enters currency wars. That's funny. Currency wars. Where did I hear that? Oh, that's right. Lindsey Williams said that would happen. You would hear about countries and their currency wars, and which leads to trade wars. Same thing. Currency wars is a trade war because your exports are all of a sudden affected by the price of your currency against other currencies, or the value of your currency against other currencies. So, official central bank purchases rose 17% in 2014. Russia and Kazakhstan dominate purchases. Still no official figures for China since 2009, and massive volumes passing through the Shanghai exchanges. And then, of course, finally, Sweden's Riksbank announces negative interest rates in quantitative easing. Oh, shock. Quick look, surprised, look absolutely shocked. Another one of the Western world's central banks doing QE and bringing interest rates down to either zero or, in this case, negative. Yeah, boy, look shocked. That's a real surprise there, isn't it? But the whole thing the other day, remember the Switzerland were taking our currency off the euro peg. We're going at it alone, we're getting off the euro peg, it jumped 30%, and it was down, then it was back up, and right, currency war, so to speak. So what are the chances? Because at face value, when that happened, everyone's saying and thinking, hey, they're dumping the euro, good for Switzerland. So my question is this: are they just doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it, and the club knew all along? And they know the euro's going away, and they need it to go away in a fashion that causes severe pain for everybody when they pull the trigger, when it really happens. So that, again, people everywhere who are suffering, it's not going to be Switzerland. Oh, Switzerland was fine when this XYZ event happened. It's going to be the whole world, so that every crooked politician across the world will be doing their damnedest job to convince their populations we need a global monetary system, so that we don't have, like, they're going to say, for example, we had to do the quantitative easing like everybody else was doing. We had to bring our interest rates down to zero and even negative like everybody else was doing. These are not normally things you want to do, but we had to maintain our import-export, pricing, whatever, to remain competitive across the world. So we had to do the same thing everybody else was doing. We didn't really want to do it. And then it crashed anyways, and if we didn't do it at the time, we would have been hurt negatively, so we had to just basically jump ship like everyone else was and do this whole QE thing and zero to negative interest rates, and of course then it blew up in everyone's face, and then they're going to say, well, that, guys, it wasn't fun, was it, dealing with the currency wars and the exports and all that. We don't want to have to compete if we have a world, which I can't wait for them to use the word New World Order. They're probably not going to use that word, New World Order. They're probably going to, like you hear now, New Order. And you can already see them as they talk about kind of changing that phrase a little bit, but we all know what it means. Same thing. But they're going to say this would never happen if we had a monetary system that was basically a single monetary system for the world, there could never be an import or export or war or currency war, etc., or both, because it's one currency. How do you have a currency war when the only currencies involved are without currencies? Hang on, before I get smacked over here. The only currency of the world is the one in existence. So that's, they're going to be able to easily push that, right? They're going to easily have some data to say, look, we can't have a currency war, can you? If there's no other currencies to compete with and you only have one. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Question is, man, a lot of people are waking up to what's going on, even though no one seems to be doing anything about all this crap. The fact that people are actually awake and at least understanding, hey, they've lied to me. Hey, that's a lie. Figures that was a lie, right? Can only hope something good comes of this, but the bottom line, back, I guess, to the original part of the story, or this video, is that central banks were top buyers, 14% increase, or was it 17? Whatever it said, increased in 2014. Now, that was just last year, and I didn't recall any good news as far as the mouthpieces, the mainstream media, the club, saying anything positive about gold and silver, or even like such as, well, hey, it's 2014, the outlook for gold and silver right now is not good, because we keep saying that, but in the future it's going to be looking real good, so we think we're going to advise all central banks to go ahead and start buying now. No, they pretty much poo-pooed it the whole time. So why then are central banks across the world buying precious metals, in this case gold, en masse? Why? Why would that be? If someone's telling you to stay away from something because it's junk, and then showing you by changing the price, it is junk. See, we told you to stay away from it. The price is getting slammed. Why are you messing with this? And then you see that same person, you run into them again a little bit later, and say, hey, I thought you said to stay away from the gold and silver stuff. Yeah, remember that last year you talked about? Yeah. Man, I just saw all your central bank pals, including yourself, according to public information now, you've increased your gold holdings in the same year you told us to stay away, over 14%. Not just you, but all your central bank buddies. Well, you said it wasn't good, so why would you advise me and other people like me to not get it, and then you went out and got it? Did something change? No, nothing really changed. Still advise you not to get it. But you've already went out and purchased a bunch of it, and all your buddies too. So I don't understand. This is very confusing. You're telling us not to do it, and then you go and do it. And not only do you do it, all your central bank buddies do it too at the same time. And now you're still telling me that's still not a good idea? Why are central banks buying all this gold? Oh, it's just what did I tell Ron Paul? It's just tradition. So it's tradition for you to tell people to stay away from gold, precious metals, but it's not tradition for you to do what you're telling people to do, and you do the opposite. Yeah. As a sign used to say on Ron Paul's desk when he was a congressman, he had a little sign right there on his desk. It said, don't steal. the government hates competition. Something like that. Don't steal. The government hates competition, right? Because the government loves to steal. So, kind of reminds me of that, in a sense, where don't do what the government's doing is what the government says, because they don't want competition. So if we're buying gold and silver, we don't want anyone else doing it. We don't want competition. Number one, why? Is because they don't want to have to. There's only one source of gold and silver. Can't leave the planet and go get it somewhere else and come back with some. So it's only available on planet Earth. So we don't want to have to compete with the sheeple and then cause a shortage somewhere down the line that we have to really then explain away why it was such a bad idea that everyone was buying gold and silver in the first place, and they believed us, and then now all of a sudden some of them didn't, so they started buying precious metals, causing a shortage for all of us, and now the price is skyrocketing and we can't control it with our paper markets anyways. We don't want that at all. So if we could just do away with the competition and buy and sell it at our pleasure, the government, that would be better. So what do? Just gear up the propaganda machines left and right, the World Gold Council and all these nonsensical organizations, including the mainstream media, that tell you to stay away. But all one has to do is look at the charts, for example, public information from the U.S. Mint. And here's an interesting stat, actually, that I'm going to throw in as a little Tuesday bonus. I was looking at this chart the other day that showed silver eagle sales versus gold eagle sales for a long time, like since the existence of these things were created, I guess. And each, I don't know if it was every 2, 3, 4, 5 years, on the chart, I don't remember, but it went from when it started years and years and years ago till like present time. And there's a massive trend that has not changed. At first, people were buying, no matter what, they were buying more silver than gold, always. But even though people were buying more silver than gold, in the beginning, it wasn't that much more silver than gold. 1 ounce of gold versus, say, 10 ounces of silver. That's, I wish I had the chart in front of me, but it just popped in my head that I should talk about this, so I can't quickly look it up. But let's just say it was 10 ounces of silver were bought for every 1 ounce of gold. That's just how many people. That's just the ratio of people buying it, how it went. A few years later, that changed to 12 ounces of silver. A few years later, it changed to 16 ounces. A few years later, 25 ounces. A few years later, 40 ounces. Today, 70 ounces. It's just some crazy number. So the trend is a lot more people want silver than gold. Yet they say gold and silver. Gold is taken out of the earth versus silver. Silver is taken out of the earth 8 more times abundant than gold. So simple theory, math here. If something comes out of the earth 8 times more than something else, then it should probably be worth 8 times less than the other thing. So in other words, we should technically have a 8-to-1 ratio of silver to gold. And we don't. We have somewhere around a 70 or so plus amount of silver to gold right now. Yet history has always showed 16-to-1, maybe 20-to-1 at times of silver to gold. Just imagine what the price of silver would do even today, right now, at 16 or 17, whatever, 18, that rough price range there, 17, 18 bucks. If it went down, it would pretty much triple at the very least. It would be $45 plus, well, 17, more like $50 immediately. And nothing has happened yet, right? The big fireworks show hasn't even begun yet. So just imagine what the price is going to be when this event happens. And as the Webbot has been predicting for a long time, you're going to have hundreds of dollars an ounce silver. And yes, thousands of dollars an ounce gold. But the ratio of that gold to silver is coming back down to where it belongs ultimately, is what it said. So, like anything, Webbot, I'm not counting my watch down. Oh, it said September of, nope. I know better. So, that's all I got for you. Take care.